Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the future of the Star Wars franchise seems to be quite expansive, not just with their books, novels, comics, and video games, but also, let's not forget about their new live-action Star Wars TV shows, their new Star Wars trilogy of films, as well as their spin-off films that they are currently developing as well as we speak. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, one thing about Disney Star Wars is that yes, we do know that they are heading in a more positive direction given that Kathleen Kennedy has little to no involvement on this new Star Wars universe, which honestly is a great thing. We've seen what happened during the Kathleen Kennedy era, as I like to call it. You know, everything ranging from The Last Jedi to The Rise of Skywalker to the mishandling of Solo: A Star Wars Story with the box office, right? We've seen a lot of failures on Kennedy's end, and thankfully she's only involved with the Leslie Headland Star Wars TV show for the time being, and that's it. So, looking ahead to the future here, obviously Disney has a great interest in Disney+. This is really their destination of exploring a library's worth of Star Wars material, separate from the movies, of course. Now, movies will continue, thankfully, because I believe that Star Wars still deserves to stay on the big screen, and that should really be the main focus. Television should really just be a side thing, in my opinion. I don't know about you guys out there, but to me, Disney Plus, you know, streaming, television, whatever have you, should honestly not be the main focus for Star Wars. It should be a side focus. That's just how I actually see things. However, when Disney Plus actually gets things right, it's of course how you can introduce these characters and have a lot of character development, and that's what's great about TV shows. However, they're also going to be developing other projects out there that's going to be an attempt to really fix the sequel trilogy. Now, beyond all of this, what's really exciting is that now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with The Rise of Skywalker, they are now focused on their new Star Wars universe as well as their new trilogy of films and more. It's explained that as of right now, both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are developing ways to reunite the Star Wars fans around the world to create a better future for the franchise. Now, it's noted that currently Disney CEO Bob Chapek has a major plan in place to not only release a 4-hour cut of The Rise of Skywalker, but also a 3-hour cut of The Last Jedi that will be equipped with a series of deleted scenes within the film that will give the fans something to look forward to. It's noted that the 3-hour cut of The Last Jedi will include more scenes that involve both Luke Skywalker and Ben Solo, in the form of flashbacks that were only partially shot and/or filmed before Rian Johnson decided to delete the scenes entirely, that are now planned to get finished by George Lucas, Favreau, and of course Filoni. Let's stop right here for a second. You guys may very well recall that even Rian Johnson himself said at one point in time in an interview that there was a point in time in which The Last Jedi was around 3 hours and 15 to 3 hours and 30 minutes long. And that just goes to show you that there were a lot of other scenes that were being partially shot that were supposed to be a part of the full-fledged movie before they reduced it down to 2 hours and change, right? So, at no surprise here, we do see that Bob Chapek, you know, and Bob Iger, they're really trying to do amazing things with the franchise. They have a big attempt here to really fix everything related to the sequel trilogy. Now, what's really exciting about this is that, yes, we do know that Bob Chapek is very much inspired by what's happening with Justice League, the Zack Snyder Cut, right? Or simply known as the Snyder Cut. That's exactly why they are doing this with Star Wars, is that they think that this is going to be a new trend among, you know, movie studios out there, you know, exploring, you know, different cuts of their major film releases. So, beyond this as well is that it's described that one of the major scenes that will actually be inserted into the 3-hour cut of The Last Jedi will include a full-blown scene that will put together, of course, the unknown worlds that we have never seen before in The Last Jedi. There were supposed to be new worlds that we never got a full-fledged look at in The Last Jedi's final cut of the movie. That was actually originally supposed to be inserted into there. However, apart from this, it's described that one of the major scenes as well that will be inserted into the 3-hour cut of The Last Jedi will include a full-blown scene that will put together that will actually show Ben Solo's first arrival to the Jedi Temple on this new world that Luke formed on this unknown world that we have never seen before in great detail. It said that this 3-hour cut of The Last Jedi, which will rearrange scenes and also include deleted scenes, will focus more on the Skywalkers in a sense to make it feel more true to the bloodline. Bob Chapek is said to also be in the talks with George Lucas and Jon Favreau to completely change the meaning of Luke's death at the end of The Last Jedi. Now, one of the key scenes that are being developed is going to be a moment in which Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost voice is going to guide and teach Luke Skywalker the Force projection technique while projecting himself onto the world of Ahch-To, and that they plan to use archived footage of Mark Hamill to get new angles and, of course, new shots of him onto the cliff looking out to the sunset, with Anakin's voice reaching out to Luke in the process. So once again, guys, we can see that what they're trying to do is that they're really trying to make the ending of The Last Jedi also a whole lot more special, more meaningful, more in tune with the character of Luke Skywalker. We have seen firsthand here how the fans reacted to Luke's death, and a lot of fans weren't all that happy. I will agree, the visuals, amazingly done. You know, you gotta give The Last Jedi some credit. You know, the visuals, I think, were on par with a lot of, major blockbusters out there. But there's no denying that the story of this movie was downright awful. And I'm sure a lot of you guys out there will agree with me on this, is that this movie was very poorly written, very poorly directed by Rian Johnson, and Kathleen Kennedy, from what she allowed him to do, was completely unacceptable in my opinion. That's just my opinion. You know, if you guys want to disagree, that's fine, but I view this movie as a colossal failure, and that's my full-on belief. However, the visuals, I will say that's the one thing that I really thought was actually pretty okay with this movie, but everything besides that, it was just awful. So, beyond this is that the reset of Luke's death is actually said to have something to do with the power of the wills and the netherworld of the Force reaching out to him through the Force ghosts of the past, including his own father, Anakin Skywalker, in the sequence. Now, they plan to make Anakin relevant at the very end of Episode 8 by having actor Hayden Christensen record new lines of dialogue that will be included in this new cut of the film sometime in 2023 on Disney+. Now, The Last Jedi's 3-hour cut will also take advantage of unused themes by John Williams that Rian Johnson got rid of that will redefine the segments in the film. This 3-hour cut is said to be more true to the Skywalker saga that will not only use partially shot scenes but techniques to also change the tone of existing scenes in the process to make it feel like a new film in tone. So once again, they want to reset the overall tone of The Last Jedi. They want to give it a new feel, if you will, in comparison to what Rian Johnson put together in his version of the film. And I can understand that. But at the same exact time, I begin to wonder to myself, isn't this just a waste of time? Shouldn't we focus more so on other projects that completely shift away from the sequel trilogy? I will say that it's probably the smarter route to take to just completely leave the sequel trilogy alone and just not even go back to these movies or to not even try to fix them up. However, at the same exact time, I think it is going to be very interesting to see, and it really does make me curious as to whether or not they can really draw the fans back based on really kind of redefining both episodes 8 and 9 through this attempt to really fix The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. Now, Bob Chapek plans to cut out the casino city of Canto Bight to fill in the scenes that involve Luke Skywalker and Ben Solo in the form of flashbacks that were only partially shot that are going to be completed using digital effects and CGI work in the process. It's Disney's attempt to fix the sequel trilogy and to regain the lost fans that walked away after Episode 9's release. So, once again, guys, here we are, we're in a scenario where Disney is very desperate, it seems, obviously, to really get the fans back that were very unhappy with the Skywalker saga's end. And obviously, The Last Jedi had a lot of issues, it had a lot of problems that, well, let's face it, that are pretty much irreversible. However, this is going to be their attempt to at least make things a little bit better. And I think that what they can really do here is that they may not be able to change the overall movie per se because they have far more limited resources than what they do with The Rise of Skywalker's other cuts of that movie. This movie, however, this alternate cut of The Last Jedi is going to redefine specific key scenes and segments of Acts 1, 2, and 3 that'll kind of give us a more positive spin on The Last Jedi and on the Skywalker bloodline. So, like I've said before in the past, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.